Welcome to Front Row, hosted by Economy.lk. And today we have Mr. Lokesh Venkataswamy, the Managing Director at Innomantra in India. Welcome to Front Row, Mr.
Thank you.
Lokesh, let's start off with your position at Innomantra. And as one of the leading digital innovation and intellectual property consulting firms in India, what sort of role do you play in the Indian economy?
Innovation today is a priority for every organization, whether it is in private, whether it is a government, it's in academic institutions, because innovation is a priority for the top management for growth. And today the mindset for innovation is apt. Every organization is in the growth mode, wants to expand, and then want to see beyond their current business scenario. We see how these organizations can really explore the new opportunities. And what is that priority? You need to really bring in innovation as a culture. So we look at organization to help how they can really be innovative, because digital is a level playing ground. You can compete today, even in the Western world, with innovation. So how to leverage this opportunity which adds value to the economy? If you really see India started with the body shopping for software. Today, there are more than 350 plus R&D centers. We call it as global innovation centers, which has got a presence in Bangalore, right? Initially, when they came to India, it was mainly for the cost beneficial aspect. And later, the time difference also has really made an impact. Today, these organizations want to really develop product for India. So they are turning into innovation centers more than just the cost beneficial centers. So we are moving away from the coding factory to innovation.
And in terms of developing countries, maybe smaller developing countries like Sri Lanka, how can maybe countries like Sri Lanka learn from the Indian experience and scale it to our needs and our potential?
Absolutely. I see there is a huge potential in Sri Lanka, because I don't see a big difference compared to India and Sri Lanka. What India did extremely well, possibly you can, the Sri Lanka can really look at it as an opportunity, because they don't see any big difference, the getting served from India or Sri Lanka. The only way the differentiator is you can look at is being innovative. How you can really develop products for the world. How to create unicorns from Sri Lanka. Today you have unicorns, many unicorns in India, which has been acquired by the multinationals. Recently, the Flipkart has been acquired by Walmart.
For the purpose of our audience, if you can explain what a unicorn is.
The unicorn is the one, because the startup is all about the scaling. How an organization seeded with a small idea and turned into one of the biggest gains. In that way, one of the example is the Flipkart, which started with by two individuals, and today their valuation has been amazingly went up, and acquired by Walmart. This kind of transformation we have never seen in India in the past. The last decade, if you really see, it's a decade of innovation for India. Sri Lanka has got a similar opportunity to create unicorns from Sri Lanka. Because today, if you have a potential, if you have a right product, if you have a business model, the whole world will look at you. They're not bothered from where the idea comes in.
One might argue that examples such as Flipkart benefited from a massive domestic market, which Sri Lanka does not have. So should then Sri Lankan firms in this sector, or who are looking towards innovations, look towards the domestic market, or should they look more outward and maybe try and integrate into the Indian economy or even a South Asian economy or even beyond that?
If you really look at Israel, it's a much smaller country compared to Sri Lanka. The population of Bangalore and population of Israel is same. But if you really see the tech startups in Israel, is a classic example. They call themselves as a startup nation. Sri Lanka also has got a similar opportunity because the talent is what you get in India, you get in even in Sri Lanka. There is no big difference. The only thing is the will to do. And the ecosystem should be built for the individuals who wants to really try something. The fear of failure is the biggest factor why people don't try. Today, the failure is a badge of honor. How to encourage these individuals to try something? I'm very sure the Sri Lankans, there are many Sri Lankans in different parts of the world. If you bring the knowledge, if you bring the connections, a lot more can happen in Sri Lanka.
So using immigration
absolutely.
And in terms of creating that ecosystem that you mentioned, what sort of regulations, it would be better if you can give some examples that India implemented to create that ecosystem?
See, the support of government is important, and you need to have a different set of framework for enabling the startups to drive innovation. Because the large companies are really struggling to innovate, they're looking for startups. There are three ways to get really any kind of technologies, right? One is you need to build your own, or you need to compete and get from buy the technology. The third one is you need to steal the technology. You don't have an option today unless you really partner. The time for building your own, by the time you lose market. Today the opportunity is all about collaborative in nature. People are looking at being collaborative, and people don't see as a partner, as a competitors today. People see as an opportunity to collaborate. How something can be built together, how the knowledge from different directions can be brought together and win the new market. And today the organizations are much open to bring them as a partner more than a vendor. So this is a huge opportunity. So we need to build an ecosystem where how much time we take to start a company and close a company. If you really see, the ease of doing business has become a big topic to discuss in India. Absolutely, India is working very hard towards it, but still people say it's not matching with other countries, developed countries. But still, if you really see the number of startups, the number of registrations which happens per day, per month, in Bangalore itself, it's more than 30 to 40 companies are being started in Bangalore. So there is a huge opportunity that shows that the people are willing to take risk. Creating jobs for the future lies with the startups. The innovation is the only way to see the new economy, to be part of the new economy. So digital is one.
And particularly in Sri Lanka, in the Sri Lankan economy, there are a few large companies that dominate the economy, so to speak, and they succeed because of a certain traditional way of doing business. How does the private sector initiate or create an ecosystem within their companies that can spur innovation better?
See, the traditional companies are also really finding it hard to see the next big growth. The traditional companies may have business today, they may be leaders today, doesn't mean that they'll remain as the leaders for next step. If you really see the last 30 years they may be leaders, it is not sure, it's not guaranteed that next 30 years they are going to be really a leader. There are many businesses that have been washed off within no time. The brands you remember a few years back, you don't remember today, right? So you cannot stay with that the title what you have as a traditional companies, right? Today you need to create new titles. That is an opportunity. And you see, can you really disrupt those traditional businesses? Then the customer will come to you. He will not look at from where I get a product, whether I get it from a multinational company or from a startup. If I'm able to get served, I'll be willing to come to you. Right? So, if you really see today the number of users in Uber, I may not be a regular user of taxis, but I become a regular user of taxi. This is basically new customers, non-customers. You looked at it as an opportunity, right? So today, even in India, if you really say, the sharing taxi is an opportunity to meet and build a new conversation with a stranger. And finally, I can tell you my own example. I have a walking friend. I met him in Ola. This would have never happened. I met my neighbor in the taxi. So today, this has become a meeting place to create new opportunities, new conversation. I had a new client who was my co-passenger. I may not get there 40 minutes in their office, but I get 1.5 hours because it's a Bangalore traffic. It's an opportunity, what I see. So the sharing economy is creating a new opportunity. This is what is really exciting for people to really dump their own cars and go by sharing. This is a new business model.
Right, on that very positive note and exciting note, thank you very much, Lokesh, for taking your time with us.
Thank you.
And for similar content, please join us on Front Row in the future.